श्रेयोऽन्यदुतैव प्रेयस्ते उभे नानार्थे पुरुषंसि नीतः तयोः श्रेय आददानस्य साधु भवति हीयतेऽर्थाद्य उप्रेयो वृणीते श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतस्तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमान् वृणीते सत्वं प्रियान् प्रियरूपांश्च कामान् अभिध्यायन्नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षी नैतान् शृङ्कान् वित्तमयीमवाप्तो यस्यां मज्जन्ति बहवो मनुष्याः दूरमेते विपरीते विशूची अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता विद्याभिप्सिनं नचिकेतसम्मन्ये नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः स्वयं धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः दन्द्रभ्यमाणाः पर्यन्ति मूढा अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालं प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम् अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानी पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवोऽयं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्तः एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्
Hari Om. The seventh mantra, the very first line, he says, many are not able to even listen to this Atman. Having heard of him, do not comprehend. I can only talk of my spiritual journey. The spiritual journey starts with conceiving a goal of self-betterment, self-management, self-actualization. As you get into the journey, when the spiritual journey started, I never had a clue what self-realization meant, what the term means. It was completely blank. It was just empty words that kept pounding onto you day after day, again and again. As you keep taking inroads into the journey, the goal starts changing. Self-improvement, self-betterment is no more superficial level of managing your life. You will start pursuing higher goals. Your whole picture of self-development itself changes. And then slowly you start relating to the idea which the Shastras are talking about, self-realization, about Atma Vidya. You'll be able to relate to that idea. And as time goes by, you will start considering that goal as your goal of life, as self-realization as your goal. And as you get committed, get established in the path, a true seeker will only be driven by self-realization. So it is a phase, it is a journey every sadhak goes through. So I can relate to the idea that many are not able to listen to it. They're not attuned to that. Those who listen can't comprehend. So the goal becomes clearer as you go deeper into the sadhana, the ultimate goal of self-realization. So the seventh mantra, he is glorifying the Atma Vidya, that rare Vidya, a rare student only seeks it. The very rare seek moksha. Very few comprehend. Thus, a rare one who reveals it is a wonder. One who comprehends the self is a wonder. When taught by a proficient teacher, Kushala Anushishtaha. The proficient teacher is what we have referred to the Mundaka Upanishad, where he says a guru is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam, who is established in Brahman. That is Nishtam. He is so grounded, so rooted in Brahman that he is Brahman himself, Brahmanishtam. And also they are so well versed in the Shastras, because Shastra Pramana, the way the Pramana, the Shastras are the only authority. You don't take your personal experience as an authority. So for that reason, no guru banks on his own experience and becomes authoritative. Though they don't need assurance from anybody, but they don't take an authoritative stance. They always fall back on the Shastras, which is the tradition of Agama. So it is indeed the mantra here says, it is a rarity to find a guru who realized the self. It's a rarity to find a person who eloquently speaks about the self. It is the self that communicates. Self can communicate in various ways and means, but when the self communicates in the most articulate way, it is well comprehended by the student. So it is the job of a guru to come down to the level of a student. It is a guru never expects a student to come to his level. It is wrong logic. If a guru expects the student to come to his level, then you mean to say the students have to come to a level of self-realization, which they are not, impossible. So it is always important for the guru to calibrate the knowledge to the level of the student, to strike a chord. You have to strike an average chord with the student. They will, in an audience, there are students who are highly evolved, they are beginners, they are middle. You got to keep giving enough that the serious students are also interested. You can't overload the beginners. So it is a very careful balance that continuously needs to be struck. But however, what I'm saying is the self communicates. Right now, when I'm talking, what is actually communicating is the self I have revealed myself, the self I have discovered. The self in me is talking to you. If I have revealed 50% of the self, to that 50% of the self, I'm giving Atma Vidya to you. You can't receive 70% because I'm not giving 70%. I'm only giving 50%. In terms of words I may have, I may be well read, I may be Shrotriyam, but the Brahmanishtam is only to the extent I have revealed that Brahman is being revealed to you through me right now. You may write down word to word, you may be able to transcript my lectures or take takeaways. You may do all the Shrotriyam part. You may be well versed in the Shastric study because somebody is teaching you Shastras. You'll be well versed. There's nothing big deal about it. If I have spent 30 over years in the Shastras, I will have a reference of Shastric knowledge. There's nothing great about it. But what is actually being communicated through the words is the Atman, and which is what is the sadhana I have done to discover or unfold myself. So what is being revealed to you is the self in the language of Shrotriyam, the means of Shrotriyam. We did say last week, Shrotriyam is the means to attain Brahmanishtam. That is the highway. There may be people who have used different ways to get there. But Shrotriyam is the means to get to Brahman. So while I'm communicating the self to you, I can only communicate to the extent I have revealed it. You can only receive to the extent you have revealed it yourself. If you have revealed 20%, you can only receive 20%. 30% is gray area for you. They are words with meaning. They're words which make sense, but beyond a point, you can't relate to it, you can't practice it. If a man of self-realization is there in this classroom and if he's talking, a man of self-realization is one who has 100% revealed the self, 100% unfolded his self. He is giving out 100%. Now, each of us are receiving to the person we have unfolded ourselves. 10%, 20%, 60%, 40%, whatever the person you have revealed. So it is actually a connect between the Atman in me to the Atman in you. It is nothing to do with your personalities. It is nothing to do with your individuality. End of the day, what receives this knowledge is your Atman. Means what relates to this knowledge. What receives may be the Patra. The Patra may be your mind and intellect. They are the receptacles. That's why I say, calm your mind, ensure your intellect is sharp and alert. Come and sit a few minutes early so you don't rush into the class. So you chant the mantra, you chant the invocations. It creates an atmosphere that you can receive the knowledge. All this is all right. But end of the day, it is the Atman that relates to that pulse, the Atman. It's like I am transmitting something. You must also be attuned to the same channel, no? For example, if you are subscribed to a particular network, the question is the transmitter from the pole is giving out the signals, but how much is receptivity on your phone? You may have sometimes only 1 bar or 2 bar or full bar. So it is the Atman that is talking, it is the Atman that is receiving. But how well is articulated depends on Shrotriyam, or I can choose not to articulate at all, or I can choose to talk the language which is alien to you, but yet I am talking. But am I able to be communicated? That's another story. So the mantra here says such a person indeed is a rarity. One who reveals is a wonder. And since he reveals it so beautifully, he actually almost spoon feeds you. He just gives you in such it's like a child being fed, vis-a-vis a child being told to prepare for yourself. A Shrotriyam is one who spoon feeds the child, means gives it in a platter so that you can just take it effortlessly. I remember my guru always used to say, the more the effort a teacher puts in, is that much easier for a student to understand. The less the effort the teacher puts in, it is that much more difficult for the student. So if you hear to any guru, and if it's made very easy for you to understand, that means that much effort the teacher has put in. This is a logical process. to any deliverer, any educator, this has to be kept in mind. So that's why Shrotriam is very important. I can't expect you to rise to my level of understanding and say, do sadhana. What sadhana? Not possible. So a very beautiful mantra, which has a deep implication. But in contrast to what this mantra is saying, to find a proficient teacher in Bhajagovindam, the 14th mantra of Bhajagovindam, where Adi Shankaracharya takes he talks about the double standard of the gurus. Do we have the mantra, Kajima? So he talks of people who put on an outer show of religiosity. Very famous mantra. There you go. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukrita veshaha Pashyanna pichana pashyati mudho hyudaranimetam bahukruta veshaha. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha. One with head shaven, one with matted locks, one with hair pulled out one by one dressed variously in ochre robes, kashayambara bahukruta veshaha, pashyanna pichana pashyati mudaha, the mudaha, though he sees, a fool though seeing sees not. He doesn't see, though he's seeing. Like I'm saying, you hear me, yet you don't hear me. Yet you don't understand. Indeed, all this very disguise is for the sake of the belly. Bahukruta vesha, shudara nimittam. The moment I robe in a particular way to impress you, if I do something for your sake, that is what the category this mantra talks of. So they put on an outer show of religiosity, but inwardly, why they are doing whatever they're doing is only for a hidden agenda. Hudara nimittam means what? For the sake of belly means what? Means they have a hidden agenda to satisfy. They are opportunists, and they are finding ways and means how to draw something out of you for themselves. So if I choose that I would not put on an act of religiosity, and I am what I am, if you are able to receive and accept me as I am, so be it. Don't be carried away by the outer show. Rather be keen to understand what is the stuff. So you should be more interested in the character than the conduct. But that doesn't mean we can sit in judgment and start branding everybody who puts on a robe is like this. Neither should you do that, nor should you be blindly swayed by the exterior. So therefore, you got to be very mindful that you need to. People become irrational when it comes to spirituality. The most rational people, oh, here is a scientist, he's a thinker, he's a writer, and this. But he says, oh, we must not do. Yesterday, a few days ago, I was being told that we should not do. This is not the right time. Rahu Kalam will come. I said, what is Rahu Kalam? I told him. You should not do the thing at 5 o'clock. Why? 5 o'clock is Rahu Kalam. I asked him, what is Rahu Kalam? That I don't know. I have heard from my grandmother saying this, I'm practicing it. So we should start the event at 4:55. Okay, sir, we shall start. I don't think he runs his industry or business in that manner. I hope not. What are you talking, man? What is a good time? If I have a heart attack, will you wait until the clock strikes at a particular time to get me admitted and treated? What are you talking? You are rational when it talks about your banking transactions, the way you deal your worldly transactions, you're rational. When it comes to spirituality, what happened to your logic? What happens to your rationality? Out of the window. So therefore, here are people who are ready to bank on your irrational approach to spirituality or religion. And they are waiting to make use of you become blindfolded when it comes to this field. So they take good use of you. They abuse you. So you should be ever mindful. If you go to the bank to say, sir, I have some deposits, I have some withdrawals to do. The bank manager says, sir, this is not the right time to withdraw. Rahu Kalam is there. Come after 2 hours, I can withdraw. It'll be good for you. What will you tell him, SR? Important bank transaction, you have to go to the bank manager, sir, this is an important transaction I have to do. The clients need to receive the funds. Can you please help me out?
I'll either request that fellow to be transferred or I'll switch the bank.
Correct. You're talking with great clarity. Switch the manager only. Transfer the manager or you'd get transferred. You leave the bank, go to another bank. I said, may God be with the bank if the bank is trying to operate based on Rahu Kalam and this morning sun time and sunset time and things. You got to put on your antenna. You got to have your antenna very, very clear. Otherwise, you will be misled. It is such a untread path. You have not treaded this path, so you don't know, and people blindly surrender.
It's like Guruji, where you mentioned that the blind leads the blind. I think we have been
the blind leads the blind. Absolutely, the gurus are blind. I am not sitting in judgment over them. That's not my job. You may sit in judgment over me. That should not be your job. But I'm only trying to tell. When you are in this path, you need to do your due diligence. So when you are, let's say, a situation comes when you have to be subjected to some medical procedure or a surgery, would you take the first opinion and go and get admitted and operated? Is it not a rational process you go through? You first find out, oh my God, it has come as a shocker to me that I have to be admitted and gone through a surgery. Is that the only way? Don't you go and first find out what is the disease, what are the consequences, what are the symptoms, what are the choices, what are the options? You will start searching. Ignorantly, you start searching, don't you? You are not a qualified medical practitioner, but yet in your ignorance, you do inquiry, don't you? And then compare all, and you start taking, oh, what that person said, second opinion, third opinion. Then you start saying, not that you have not trusted the first doctor. You trust all the doctors. You don't go with suspicion. You go with an inquiry. You take necessary information to gain clarity to the further course of action. It is not lack of trust here we're talking. It is blindly, you don't follow the doctor. That aspect is non-existent. So the moment somebody becomes rational, you find they are not there in that space. They can't take it because that's the reason spirituality people are fanatically attached to some form of personality. Spirituality is like obvious. A father will be attached to his son. A mother will be attached to his son. A man will be attached to his business. It's obvious. To expect a father to be detached to his children, a parent to be detached to his children, or a man to be detached to his business, you've got to have extraordinary wisdom. And the moment you get into the spiritual field, that which attracted you to the field is the guru. Invariably, you will get attached to the guru. It's an obsession. That day somebody was saying, I don't want to mention names. They have more than life-size pictures of their gurus in their homes. 8 feet statue, 8 feet portraits, all over the house and all over wherever they go. So much so, it is is jarring to somebody else who comes in, who walks in. For you, I don't know how imagine you're seeing a 10 feet. I can think of umpty number of situations where I've been. And life-size personalities, I just can't understand that. It is just an indication that you have completely been sold by a personality rather than the teachings. Vedanta tells Don't be a slave to any personality or celebrity. Remember these words. You must be interested in the teachings, not the teacher. You must be interested in the message, not his lifestyle. It is a spiritual weakness to get carried away by the personality and lifestyle. You must separate. That's where Sanatana Dharma comes in. Sanatana Dharma has no religion. Sanatana Dharma has no personality. Sanatana Dharma has no date of beginning or end. That's why it's called eternal principles. So when I propose Sanatana Dharma, it is not a person, not an identity. Give me an identity. There is no identity in Sanatana Dharma. When we're talking of the Vedas, who has written the Vedas? We do not know. Yet I can get stuck to a scripture or a name or a form. I can say Shiva is everything, or I can say Krishna is everything. Come on, man. You may see Atman in Krishna, but you mean to say Krishna, Atman is not there in Brahma, is not there in Ganesha, is not there in something else, or is not there in Jesus, is not there in Moses. It is there. So the whole job of philosophy is to liberate you from shackles, not to bind you. In the name of spirituality, you have developed another attachment. Remember this. Attachment to your belief systems, attachment to your practices, attachment to the personality. So a true guru is meant to liberate you. You know, a true guru will, if you go to him, he will only unsettle you. If you're ready for it. If you're not ready for it, he'll comfort you, talk to you, dilly dong you, and go back. Oh, it felt so nice talking to you, sir. Why? He didn't unsettle you. Unsettle you for what? For your growth. He hasn't told anything for your growth. If you have to grow, you have to go through pain. Every time you go to the gym instructor says, now we'll have to increase the weight. Or we'll have to do something extra. If you're able to jog 15 minutes, do 20 minutes. At what speed are you jogging? At 5.5, sir. 5.5, your grandmother will walk in the park. You better start running at 10. 10, I must speed and run for 20 minutes, sir. I'll collapse. We'll see after you collapse. First start running. He'll push you. The job of an instructor is to bring the best out of you. You want to compete at the top level and you can't bring the best out of your potential. A job of a trainer is to do that. Otherwise, you are in your comfort zone. Every time I had an opportunity with my guru where one-to-one I spoke, I had that phenomenal clarity where I had to push myself to go to the next level. That's where is the growth. So unsettle you not to an extent to make you uncomfortable in a right sense. Because no trainer will want you to break you down, not that you take 2 months break because I've torn my muscles. He knows your capacity. He's pushing a little more. So to have that ideal student who is right mindset with the right, no hiccups, no hookups. So when I'll see all of you have some hookups, have some reservations, have something holding you back. So you can't liberally fully plunge into to explore the truth because you're holding on to some non-essentials in the religion, in the path. So I need to it's not my job to liberate you. If you want, then there's some help will come. But otherwise, I will not want to. I want to liberate myself. Why should I want to liberate you? You liberate yourself, I liberate myself. But if you just take an honest look, peep into yourself, spirituality is all bondages to you. You're bound to so many things. You may be liberated from the world, but you're bound to the spiritual world. Watch out. So don't fall a prey to all the Bahukruta Vesha, the varied show. Vijayji.
Hare Krishna. I had a question about your statement that Sanatana Dharma is not a religion, personality, or date, and not be attached. Like, for example, you gave the example of the guru and those huge pictures that people have. My question is, how does one practice bhakti yoga if one is not attached to a personality of God? Say, for example, in my case, I feel I'm attached to Krishna. So how does that work? If you don't have an attachment, it's practically impossible, in my opinion, to practice bhakti yoga.
See, bhakti in the 12th chapter of the Gita, where we are doing on Sundays, the satsangs, he starts by saying you can either worship God with a form or attune to the formless. It only differs in terms of degree. So a person who's advanced also has the same level of bhakti, or if not more, than a person who needs a form.
You can only
Bhakti is, sir, first of all, what is bhakti? Let us define bhakti. Bhakti is an attitude of gratefulness. Bhakti it starts with awareness of what you have been provided with, what providence has provided you. You and I have been provided with more than what we need, what we want. So first step of bhakti is awareness of what you have. Second is back it up with an attitude of being grateful and thankful to the Lord. That is bhakti.
So where does devotion come into play then?
What is your concept of devotion? Is it, you're talking of expressing your devotion. I'm not talking of expression. Sir, if I were to ask you, how do you measure your love to your family, your children? Is it measured by the gifts and the quality of gifts that you have given them? Is it measured by how you express them, or the love can't be measured with the expression of your gifts and all that you have given to them? Would you measure that love with that?
I think a good yardstick for expressing love is sacrifice.
Indeed. You have sacrificed your life for them, but it's not measured with what you give to them, isn't it? It's not measured. Your love is far beyond your inability to provide for them. There were days perhaps in your life where you couldn't provide what they needed. That didn't mean your love or any less for them. Yet you're sacrificing, but you didn't have the ability to provide for them. So is bhakti what is offered to the Lord? Is it the expression of love, or is it the feeling of kya lage mera? What is mine in this to give it to you? Tera tujhko arpan. That's what we do in the Aarti we chant, no? Tera tujhko arpan, kya lage mera. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. So what is mine in this to offer to you, my Lord? It's all yours. That feeling you operate with. No possessiveness, no arrogance, no feeling of I and my. There is no doer offering something to being offered to the Lord. That feeling itself gets liquidated. So if you want to understand bhakti, measure it with your love towards your near and dear, because bhakti and love are the same emotion. It's only being directed to the higher. It's not measured by what you offer. It's measured by your feeling. It is that feeling of identification. You're able to identify with your child. You don't need to be told, can't you feel for your child? It is an automatic established connection. Whatever the child does to you, still have that feeling, that fatherly feeling, that parental feeling towards a child. It is that affinity, that connection, that identification. Same feeling a devotee has to the Lord. Yes, a person who is in the early stages of sadhana needs a form. A person who is in the advanced stages does not necessarily need a form. He is able to attune to the formless reality of providence. He is thankful, he is grateful, he operates in that feeling of gratitude. That expresses in different ways. It may express by you performing a ritual or doing a certain sacrifice or a certain act, but it is not measured by the act. It is the feeling that's important, not the expression.
And taking the example of a child, I mean, it's easy to express or sacrifice oneself for something that is tangible, that you know that there's a personality connected to it. But if I had to sacrifice for a child that I had in the past life, I won't be able to do it because I cannot relate to that individual. So wouldn't that same thing apply with devotion, expressing bhakti yoga towards a form of God that you relate to rather than
You must
just
have the eyes to see,
read?
sir. Just like an artist has an eye to see a sculpture in a stone. The Ganesha behind me is a solid stone. It has been sculpted from a piece of rock. That's all I'm saying. You must have the eyes to see. There are people who, I don't have an eye to see as a sculptor. I can't see a statue in a stone. So you are not able to see, or in the context of the question, if one is not able to see, that person needs the form. We're not saying should not use the form. We're only saying that you must express your devotion. What is devotion is being, we have defined it. Whether you need a form, don't need a form, that is academic. That depends on individual requirement. So how does it matter? But ultimately, you may have love to your child, but I will still advise you, don't develop an attachment to your child. The same principle applies. You may be devoted to a particular form, but don't be attached to the form. The principle holds good. It's a matter of different field of application. The principle of application is the same. Where you're applying it is different.
Yeah, I mean, being attached to a child is being attached to a limited form. Being attached to Paramatma would be the unlimited, the infinite form. So I'm sorry,
Sir,
I'm
please.
still not able to get
No,
why
you have
attachment
you
to an
have,
infinite form is bad.
sir, I would want you to ponder over the ideas and come back. I'm happy to answer the last statement you asked. Why is it wrong? You said.
Why is it not advised? Yeah.
Why is it not advised? Because ultimately you have to move away from the form to get to the ultimate reality. Any attachment to anything, attachment becomes an impediment to your spiritual growth. In the beginning, it may liberate you from other attachments ultimately, but that very attachment becomes a thorn in your flesh because it doesn't help you grow beyond it. So if somebody were to, I remember my guru was saying in Australia, he was talking of his experience. There was a lady sitting in the first row in the front. She was short. The chair was a little high. She was short. And apparently she had bought a few books on the counter just before the lecture. So her feet were hanging and the feet did not touch the ground. And she had those days, initial days, there were 3 volumes of the Gita. And she bought 3 volumes of Bhagavad Gita. She should put that 3 books on the floor and put the foot on that, sitting right in front, and Swamiji has to talk for the next 1 hour. For that person, it doesn't mean anything. I know what would it mean to you and me, or to us in the classroom, to put a foot, stand on the Bhagavad Gita, that you worship it as a holy scripture. And Swamiji was talking on Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is put as a footrest, and she doesn't even, she can't relate to that idea. Now, you can't blame her. I wouldn't blame her, perhaps, because we don't even stamp a piece of newspaper. That is our culture. Even if you touch a piece of newspaper, you touch because it is knowledge. So another person can get completely offended. How can you dare do that? You are insulting my scripture. Why? Your attachment to it. Just because you appreciate doesn't mean everybody must toe to the line. It doesn't mean it. If I insult your guru, does it mean anything to you? The moment it starts unsettling you means you are attached to it. The moment, what is happening? Suddenly you feel some funny emotions and feelings coming and reactions happening, that means you're attached to that personality or attached to it. Otherwise, you are entitled to your opinion. How does it matter? The whole world should not follow me, no? Huh? Are? So you've got to start rationalizing everything that you do. So that to the extent that there's clarity, but emotion is beyond reason. Emotion and reason are two different things, but they must converge at some point. They both converge. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm analyzing bhakti to you, and I'm also giving what it means, how you practice it. But I want you to ponder over it and come back with any further questions, because it may not be difficult to digest everything as it's been given, sir. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, even in a prayer, are we not told when you go to the Lord or standing in front of the altar, your job is not to ask the Lord for what you want. You go to a prayer. Prayer is only an expression of thanksgiving. So even when you are in every religion, even before you eat food, you chant a prayer, thank the Lord for the food, and so on. Every religion, there is some form of prayer. That is prayer. Prayer is not to ask. Prayer is to thank the Lord. So I don't see any difference in what we have explained and what the norms and the practices and what the purposes are. But people have abused prayer to go and ask the Lord for something. It is not prayer. Prayer is one long chant of thankfulness to the Lord. I don't know what to ask, my Lord. You've given me so much. That is bhakti. If that doesn't exist in you, you are not a bhakta. Remember this. One of the qualities of bhakta, which will continue in the Sunday satsang, he says, free from wants. A true bhakta doesn't want anything. There's no wanting, there's no asking, because I'm content. Santushtah satatam. I'm ever content. So why would I ask the Lord anything? So it is sacrilegious to go to the Lord's altar and ask the Lord for something. That is the most selfish thing. No, not accepted. Sadly, it's not quoted in such manner. So we take a license to go and ask the Lord. Okay, so we move on to the 8th mantra.
न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्तः एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्.
Can you just close this page for a moment? Have you all ever been pounded of my guru onto you all? Everybody comes and pounds their gurus onto me. My guru is this, my guru is that, and things. Have I ever pounded my guru onto you all? I've only had one guru in my life. He was the first and my last guru. Have you ever even seen a picture of my guru anywhere, in the institution, center, or anywhere? Only when you come to my abode, my home, there's a space where it is, which is a private space. It is not my job to influence you of personalities. And yet, day in and day out, I'm teaching this knowledge to you, which I'm ever grateful to my guru for what he has taught me. Every breath, I'm thankful for what he has given, but I'm not pounding that person or the image or the personality onto you. Not an image, not a portrait, not a mention. Doesn't mean you mean to say, is there, if I were to literally say, cut me open, you will only see him in my life. You must know what you're doing. I can't be blowing hot and cold to you all. So it is not to demean what is being practiced, rather trying to tell you what is the truth, the reality. Don't, and this is what my guru taught to me. Don't develop an attachment to personality. All his life, all my association with him, he never encouraged any attachment to him as that. We were terribly attached. I was terribly attached. If there was one person who was to come into my dream, was him. All my life, he used to come and disturb me in the dream. He used to come into the dream. Because he was so much of me. But he didn't encourage. Imagine if he encouraged, finished. We are all gone. We become caricatures, spiritual caricatures. So the moment a parent wants a child to be independent, all of you have seen your children grow. And don't you want them to lead in a life of independence, not all the time banking and depending on you? Though they may come back to you to seek an advice or two, but you have given them the wings of self-sufficiency, not piggybacking on you all the time. So the way the knowledge has been taught, the way he dealt with us, is he made us self-sufficient. So what I have gained through my association with the Guru is I have become self-sufficient, not become a spiritual caricature. Without that, I fall. No, it should never be that. But what you don't see is my expression of it. So you think it is not there. Please don't, not that you are formed in opinions or not that you have any reservations. I'm just trying to justify what is being explained in the context. Every pulse, every nerve, every vein, every word is him. But it is not, I'm not holding on to him. I'm holding on to his teachings, which is Sanatana Dharma. If I were to keep portraying him at the cost of the teachings, what have I learned? Am I not holding on to a personality? He's everything for me, but I don't portray that way. For God's sake, you've got to have the eyes to see. But whenever I interact with people, all they are talking is their personality, personality, personality. Suffocating, believe me, it's suffocating. I can't tell in person to you. Out of respect for you, I don't tell. But it's suffocating the way people are attached to personalities. It's sickening. If Srinivas Garu comes and says all the time of the granddaughter, I will keep distance from him. But you only have a granddaughter, is it? You only have a grandchild, is it? Huh? He doesn't do that. I'm just example. If Shivaji comes and constantly keeps talking about his daughter, is it you only person have a child, is it? Your child is only the best child, is it? Your grandchild is only the best, is it? What are you talking? I'm not interested, please. It loses its, it has become anything. You know, if I put, somebody has given a perfume to me, if I start spraying in my nostrils, what will happen? I'll develop serious allergies and consequences. It has a flavor only when it's sprayed from a distance. You just spray, that's it. It's there and not there, that kind of a thing. Don't go to a point where it is suffocating. I'm very sorry. It may unsettle you, but the point is not to unsettle you. It's to only make you grow from where you are attached. You're holding on to it. Move on, move on. If they have attained moksha because they were liberated from their gurus, why are you stuck to your guru, to the personality? No teachings will never advocate this. No guru ever who is rightfully interested in development will encourage attachment. So detachment is the only way forward, Vijayji, to everything. You have detached from the lower, now you're attached to the higher. You have to detach to the higher to get to the highest. Detachment is attitude. Detachment doesn't mean dropping it. Don't drop it. We're not saying to discard it. We're only trying to tell you, what is detachment? Detachment is to make a diligent use of what you are engaging with. That is detachment. You use a car as a means of transport. You don't use a car to worship the car. You keep it clean, you keep it worthy of serving your purpose, but not to worship it doing puja every day. Right? Imagine the day you bought a vehicle, you go to a temple and do puja. Every day morning, you're doing arati to the car. People around you say, what is this fellow? Pagal hai kya? Every day morning is doing arati to the car. You don't worship the car. You use the car for a purpose it's meant. So detachment is to make diligent use of what you are engaged with. That is detachment. Everything in life serves a purpose. Remember this. Everything in life serves a purpose. And detachment is to make good use for its purpose. That's all. If it is not done that way, that means you're attached to it. It is not serving its purpose. So if anybody dents my car, scratches my car, finished, I will have sleepless nights. Yeah, it is just a piece of metal to serve you to travel one place to other. Why are you getting carried away with it? But you will take care of everything that is there in your journey. I take care of. I bought 2 pencils yesterday. Somebody who came from Malaysia, I was telling that person, I bought 2 pencils more than 10 years ago in Malaysia. And I take care of them so well because they serve my purpose of my actual notes and things. So what I've actually written here is with that pencil. I may write with any pencil, but I will take care of it to a point of fault so that it serves my purpose. I take it with so diligence. But I'm not attached. That break doesn't mean I'll not stop writing or I'll start moaning. Tomorrow we're having a condolence meeting. Oh, sorry, sir, tomorrow we're celebrating Guru Purnima. Yes, Guru Purnima will be after that. But before that, condolence meeting. What happened, Guruji? Oh, my pencil is broken. Yeah? You will all become my gurus that day. Tomorrow, all will be my gurus. Will come and try to counsel me, Guruji, and never mind. I know it was important to you. We will get a better pencil than you. Why are you so attached to the pencil? Chalta hai, it's okay, go on. Why are you worried about it? Hare, don't you see the stupidity in it? I know Haresh immediately he'll order 1 pencil. Haresh, you'll order from, Haresh? Yesterday evening, Vijayji had called. You know what I was doing, Haresh, yesterday?
Yes.
Vijayji called me at, we connected at 9:30. The first question before he even said, Hare Krishna, how come you're awake so late? Vijayji said. I told Vijayji, do you know what I'm doing? I said, I'm autographing 200 books. Wisdom conversation books. Somebody had got 200 books, and and all the books they wanted to autograph, and I'm autographing, and I'm using the pen which you have given, Harish. The pen which is meant for autograph, only the autograph book. So I'm autographing that. Imagine something happens to the pen, then what would happen? My life breaks, is it? My heart breaks, is it? It should come to an end. Nah, big deal. It may be an expensive piece of writing where, but how does it matter? Make good use of it to serve the purpose. When it is gone, no problem. Even when it is there, you don't worship beyond a point. Use it. Don't get attached to it. It applies to everything in your life. Then everything becomes a means to your goal. Remember this. If you are detached to it, Vijayji, write down these words in bold, in caps and bold, both. If you are detached to it, everything becomes a means to the end. It becomes a journey. But when you're attached to it, it becomes a destination. It becomes an end in itself. That marks the difference to your association in life. Redigaru, you got it? Got the statement? I know your look said it all.
I understood, but to complete the sentence, Guruji.
Where were you?
If you are to be detached.
If you're detached is a means to an end. It is a journey. But if you are attached, it becomes an end in itself, which becomes a destination. And then it becomes an impediment, rightly said. So your guru should not be an impediment to you. That is the reason Arjuna found Dronacharya as an impediment to his purpose of establishing dharma. Isn't it? Bhagavad Gita context was. Panigre ji, aapko pata hai na? Lord Krishna, what did he advise Arjuna? So we can't hear you. Hanji. Yes, indeed, indeed. What was Arjuna's predicament? He was
attached
very
to personalities, gurus, Pitama, all these people, so he was not able to fight.
Not able to fight. In the context here, he was attached to his guru and he knew he had to shoot an arrow at his guru who told him, taught him how to hold the bow and arrow. My guru held my hand and told me how to shoot an arrow. And with this very same hand and the very same bow and arrow, I must shoot my guru. My God, what are you telling? Krishna, something wrong with you. Please don't tell me to do this. I don't want to fight this battle. Ghora karma. I can't do this ghora karma. Put your sentiments aside and do what your dharma is, man. Karmani eva adhikara. Do your action. It's not easy. Imagine you are fighting against your own guru for something. Is it worth it, man? I tell you, I don't know if I have to be in that position. I'll say, Yo Rama, I don't want to be in that position where I have to shoot my own guru. Most toughest challenge he had, and to such a man the knowledge was given and it resurrected him. So you see, Vijayji, how the sentiment plays and how you can't get carried away by sentiment, yet you got to do the right thing. That is what the Gita has taught. Be detached to the guru. If the guru is on the adharmic side, so be that is his call. He chose to be on the adharmic side. But if I have to shoot my guru, I will do it. Where is that? Though you will not disrespect or disregard a guru, no doubt, no question, no qualms, but what your thought is I tell you, it's having said for the last 1 hour, it's exactly 1 hour I've been speaking, one concept I've spoken. I feel I'm short of words to say anything more than this. Anything more, it's only been misunderstood. Sorry, sir, you have been muted.
Now, I was just telling that he was serving a bigger guru in the form of Krishna.
Who is Krishna?
When Arjuna was shooting an arrow
Mm-hmm.
on Dronacharya, he was serving.
Okay, in the context of the Gita, yeah. He was serving dharma. There was a fight against dharma and adharma. There's nothing to do with the personality. So it just elevates your whole thinking process. Right, Ji. Okay, thanks, Ma. Thanks, Ji. So can we have the 8th mantra, please? Can we chant once again, please? Is it possible?
प्रोक्तः एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्.
Correct, correct. Don't change anything, right? So this, which is a self, is thought in many ways, in various ways. When taught by an inferior intellect, it is not easy to be known. Na suvigneya. Suvigneya means easy to be known. Na suvigneya. When avarena, avarena means inferior intellect. But instructed by another, there is no misunderstanding of it. The self being subtler than the subtlest, it is beyond reason. He atakar, he atak kermam. Hyatakermam. Hyatakermam means not to be argued. Means it is beyond reason. Hyatakermam. Kerma, not karmyam. Hyatakerma. If you see in the second line, the last word starts with Hyatakerma. Okay. Now, what is being said here? Again, this mantra is highlighting the role of a right acharya in your life. The total qualification of a perfect guru, which has already been spoken in detail of Brahmanishtaha and Shrotriya, whom he calls him as the Ananya Prokte Gatihi. Ananya Proktaha means taught by another. Taught by another refers to other than the inferior. Avarena Guru. Avara Guru means inferior intellect. Vara Guru means superior intellect. I repeat, Avara Guru refers to inferior intellect. Avarena or Avara Guru. Vara Guru here refers to a superior intellect. Uttama Acharya. Such people are superior intellects. Say a guru, for a true guru, what is the pursuer and the pursued are the same for a true guru. Amitama, what does it mean? The pursuer and the pursued are the same. What do those words imply?
Hariom Guruji, could it imply absolute clarity and alignment between the student and the guru? Is that?
Can you repeat the sentence first? Repeat, please.
Pursuer and the pursued are the same.
The pursuer and what is being pursued.
Yeah.
What does it imply? What do the word pursuer and pursued mean?
The seeker and the knowledge.
The pursuer is the seeker. What is pursued is the
Self-realization.
the goal.
Goal, yeah.
So when the pursuer and pursued are the same means what?
The what shall I say, the commitment or the alignment to the goal is
Hello. We are trying to, what are we trying to describe here? We are trying to describe Uttama Acharya. Uttama means top intellect, superior intellect. A superior intellect is described as Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. That we have explained in detail. The last two satsangs we have talked about it. Now, Brahmanishtam is being described to Brahmanishtam. I'm saying here, who is a true Brahmanishtam? The pursuer and the pursued are the same. Now explain. What does it mean? My job is to make you think, not to inform you.
Sorry, sir. I don't think I'm getting what you are.
No problem. But I've achieved my purpose is to make you think.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gayatri Ma, what does it mean? The pursuer and pursued are the same.
He becomes the goal itself and lives that life.
He and the goal are the same, means he has attained realization. You are not separate from the goal. When I say I am trying to get there, means I am not there yet. A Brahmanishtam is one who is established in God consciousness, means he has become Brahman. There is no difference between the pursuer and the pursued. There is no pursuit. I am already that. So he is that. And that is the trademark of Brahmanishtam. Means you have reached that state where what you are seeking and the seeker are the same. Sometimes you have to use such language to get the depth of the context. So don't get lost in the words, but get the meaning, which is very clear. So if this self is taught by inferior intellect, such people will only have more confusions and doubts. But the contrary is not true. Just because you're having doubt doesn't mean make me inferior, please. Huh? Vijayji, don't conclude that way. Don't write that statement. Huh? Amitama. When inferior intellect talks or speech teaches, there's a lot of doubts and confusions.
So, sir, I use the word aligned. Is that word not in context here between the pursuer and the pursued being exactly the same?
Aligned is talk of a person who's still pursuing the goal.
Okay. Has not.
Are my actions aligned to my goal? Means I'm still not there. I'm trying to get there.
Trying to get there. Okay, I get you.
Thank you. When you say that the seeker and the sought are the same, that means he's already got to the goal. There's no more alignment. He is the goal. Okay. You get that?
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Most welcome. So the seeker and the goal, gatihi, ananya prokta gatihi. So the three words, ananya prokta gatihi, talks of a established acharya. Yes, rightly said Setuji. The acharya is established in the self. He's in the Brahmanishtam. And that Brahmanishtam is being captured by Ananya Prokta Gatihi. These three words explain Brahmanishtam. This person is the goal. So one who is the goal is superior intellect. And what is being trying to describe, what is attempted to describe by the superior intellect? What is being attempted? That which is being attempted is subtler than the subtlest. Anupramanat. Aniyan anupramanat. It is subtler than the subtlest. The self being subtler than the subtlest, and it is beyond reason. All the while we have been saying you must reason, reason, reason. Now we are saying it's beyond reason. Subtler than the subtlest. What do you mean subtler than the subtlest? Seduji, what do you make sense of that phrase subtler than the subtlest? Hari
Self is the subtlest. Maybe one step before is the subtler.
You smartly put the words other way and then you think you have answered the question. And you want us to believe that you have answered the question. Huh? That is why you are very convincing, sir. But the question still remains. What does it mean, subtler than the subtlest? He said, it is subtlest is subtler than subtle. That's all. And Atman is subtle. Hmm. You must send Setuji for a negotiation. The other fellow will completely fall for negotiation. He thought he had got the deal. But that fellow has gone, he has been, what do you say, he's caught up in the maya of words. That's all. Anybody can explain? Subtler than subtlest. Yes, Vasantama. Lakshmima, it is not nothing, it's everything.
Probably it is, you can relate it to, it is Turiya stage, it's beyond good, deep sleep. How we relate, it is subtler, more subtler than, you cannot comprehend. The self is beyond the subtlest means it is, I related with Turiya and understood it that way.
Indeed, indeed. It is describing of the self, the Turiya. But when you say subtle, what does the word subtle mean?
It is.
What is the opposite of subtle?
Gross.
What is the definition of gross?
Gross is physically visible.
Yes. Yeah, I'll have to mute you, ma, because there's an echo coming from your side.
Yes.
Okay, right. But you're right. So the word gross means anything which is tangible, physical. Subtle means intangible. Subtler than the subtle means something which is in the very core of your personality. It's so deeply embedded, it's so essence. It is the subtlest. It is the most deepest part. If you say it is the deepest part of the cave, means it is deep in the interior core of the cave, not the outer realms. But the beauty is that which is the subtler than the subtlest is everywhere. You get the point. Don't be lost in words. Something which is so subtle is everywhere. Like, I don't know which mantra it comes. I think it's the Kathopanishad. He says, Tadhure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyataha. What it means is, he says that is far. Tadhure tadvantike, it's inside. Right? You say it is very far, it is very near. Very far for whom? For an extroverted fellow, it is very far. For an introverted fellow, God is very near. So it's only choice of words. But when he says here, subtler than the subtlest means something which is deep inward in you. You need to take that introverted journey, which Ananya Proktaha will lead you. A superior guru will lead you to that which is subtler than the subtlest, where deep within you. So a true guru will take you an introverted journey, not an outward journey. That's what is the meaning. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.